What's up, guys? His name's Drew here, back with another episode of Sports Talk on Soccer. So, yeah, let's get into it. Dominic King, Darwin Nunez looks like Jurgen Klopp's old man out. The 85 million striker was again reduced to a bit part role in win over Agia, and his acclimatationist, acclimatationist is taking longer than expected. Yeah, so Liverpool won 2-1 versus Agia. It was one of those where, um, we can see Liverpool currently struggling to get consistent wins. There was a few draws and, of course, a few losses. But luckily they got that win in the Champions League to continue their run. Obviously, they had the loss in Napoli, the 4-1 loss. So we'll see as it goes. But yeah, they won. So yeah, let's continue and look at some other news. Not much really to say. Chelsea chairman Todd Boehly calls for the Premier League to introduce an annual North versus South All-Star game to help raise money for the England football pyramid, as he insists football can learn a lesson from the U.S. sport. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. In the American sports, especially NBA in NFL, we have this system where we're able to like for the NFL, it's usually around the Super Bowl time. So like a week prior to the Super Bowl, all the all-star players that are voted in the NFL all fly out to Hawaii and they play a game there. And it's basically like North versus West, or the NFC versus NFC North versus or NFC versus AFC, excuse me. So yeah, they've always mashed it up, and the same thing in the NBA. They have a similar um, setup where they do this. So I think soccer in the Premier League, I think all leagues should do this. This would best this would boost money in performance, or not performance, but more or less money financially for the leagues. So it would be interesting to see how that would work. I mean, in the French league, it would be weird. Most likely, it would just be PSG's whole team. But anyways, it is that. So yeah, let's continue. See what else. Newcastle confirmed arrival of Liverpool flop Karius. Yeah, if you guys remember a few years ago, Loris Karius played for Liverpool in that final versus Real Madrid, where Mo Salah dislocated his shoulder or his arm, if I can't remember correctly. And Liverpool lost that Champions League, but then they came back the next year and won it. But yeah, he was the goalkeeper that a lot of players booed because he didn't do so well, and then that's when Liverpool picked up Allison the next season, and then they shipped him off to I think Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, somewhere in the Turkish league. But now he's back in the Premier League. Hopefully, he can get rejuvenated here and do good for Newcastle. We see that Newcastle, their new owners aren't afraid to spend money. So, all for them. Antonio Conte tells his Tottenham stars to reduce the mistakes following their late capitulation in the Champions League after they paid the price for not taking their chances against Sporting. Yeah, so I watched this game the first half. It was kind of boring. A lot of back and forth. There was a few chances I saw that Sporting were about to score. They have a really good player. I think it was their number 10 I was watching. He was able to kind of get through some of the Tottenham players. But yeah, they have a loss on this one. Not a really a good start. They do have a win though, so that's good. But they need to take those chances because this is the Champions League. This is the top of the line, and you always got to have your team at the top of its game every game. So yeah, let's see what else. What else is left? Okay, oh, this is kind of interesting. It wasn't about Zagreb. It was about the shared vision for what we wanted Chelsea to look like. Todd Boehly opens up on shocking decision to sack Thomas Tuchel and appointing a coach who really wanted to collaborate in Graham Potter. So, back to my previous video. If you guys watched it, I would suggest you go and watch my previous video about the Chelsea sacking, which just happened a few weeks ago. And here clearly we see, Todd Boehly saying it's not about the loss in Zagreb. It was about the vision. Boehly, is looking at vision in the sense of we need to use, our academy players. We need to use because Chelsea does have one of the best academy out there in the sense of we're getting players to come at a young age and then bringing them up into the first team. The only downfall, of course, to this is some of these players can't really adapt from the lower or from the youth team into the higher team. Obviously, it's difficult, but it's possible. We see Reece James, Mason Mount, Billy Gilmore. Unfortunately, we sold him this year to Brighton of all teams, and then of course, we stole their coach, meaning Tuchel told him you should go there because this coach, Graham Potter, is going to be really good for you. But then we sacked him and took their coach. So it's a little bit, interesting how everything played out. Whether this is true or not, it will be interesting to see in the future. Um, they're saying that, he's trying to copy the Man City model of the way they do things. So yeah, let's see how things work out. I am obviously a Chelsea fan, so hopefully he'll go through. Bayern Munich's 2-0 Barcelona. Bayern Munich 2-0 Barcelona. Robert Lewandowski endures an unhappy return to the Allianz Arena as Lucas Hernandez and Leroy Sané strike in the second half minute to settle heavyweight clash. So, yeah, this was one of those games where, Lewandowski probably wants to forget. It was, the revenge game in a sense for him. Obviously, if you've known the stories about Lewandowski and the way he left, very unfortunate. And of course, I'll give you guys a little bit of backstory. But yeah, I watched this game as well. I watched the first half; it was 0-0, but then eventually, um, I had to go do some stuff. So when I came back, it was 2-0. But yeah, interesting to see that. I know he missed a sitter, but it is what it is. But yeah, the backstory with Robert Lewandowski leaving Bayern Munich was the idea that Bayern was flirting with the idea of bringing in Erling Haaland, who eventually went to Manchester City. And it was one of those when he was doing really well. Like he had that season where he like scored like over I think 50 plus goals, like beating the record or something, Garrett Muller's record. And he didn't like the idea that Bayern were kind of fluffing in the background, communicating and then getting ready to, get Erling Haaland. But eventually Haaland, didn't go. He was obviously assessing the whole situation and didn't like it either. So he went to obviously his boyish club, Manchester City. So yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, but hey, these Champions League games are played in two legs. So we'll see at Barcelona how things will go. Hopefully, Barcelona can get that win. We'll see. Maybe Lewandowski could score a hat trick. We never know. But yeah, let's see. Let's continue. There's always space for a player like that in the team. Owen Hargreaves tips Marcus Edwards for an England call-up after he almost scored an amazing goal against Tottenham as Peter Crouch drools over the spectacular Sporting Lisbon star. Yeah, so this was actually the play that I was talking about earlier. I was like telling you guys there was this guy, I guess his name is Marcus Edwards. He was able to literally pass through all of these players. Look, boom, boom, and almost scored. It was one of those moments like right before the half. So yeah, it looks like they're talking about him. So maybe England might get a call up. Obviously he needs to score too. That's one of those things. You think about England, they have a lot of top strikers. You got Harry Kane up there. You got Raheem Sterling. You got, um, I was going to say Dele Alli, but never mind. You got also Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, and a whole bunch of others, up there that are, trying to fight for that position. So it would be interesting to see Marcus Edwards playing for, the World Cup. Let's see. Maybe it might happen. Let's continue. Why Pep Guardiola pulled the plug on Manchester City pursuit of Harry Kane and turning instead to Erling Haaland as he prepared to face his former club Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, we know that City were always trying to get Kane for the past I think 3 or 4 years. but obviously Tottenham were never trying to budge, and even Kane requested himself that he wanted to leave, but the release clause was way too high for some of these clubs. And what do you know? Out of nowhere, Erling Haaland, decides to run down his contract and is able to come to City, a place where he wants to be, and obviously way younger than Harry Kane. So this is a very big plus for them. They could probably have him for at least 7, 8 years. Of how good he is. He's one of those stars, and they got him for cheap too. So, um, it's awesome to see him play. He literally has been scoring, I think, already 4 or 5 games in a row. So he's one of those players that you just know he's going to do good. So let's see what else is left. Can Chelsea tame the new Erling Haaland? Red Bull Salzburg giant Benjamin Sesko is earning rave reviews and drawing comparison with Manchester City star man after being targeted by Real Madrid and United in the summer. Um, so yeah, Chelsea play tomorrow against Red Bulls. Let's see what happens, how the game will go. This will be Graham Potter's first game. I guess they're raving about this kid, Benjamin Sesko. I'm not familiar with him, but we'll be watching the game tomorrow to see what he's all about. Hopefully, he'll be interesting. Um, Hopefully, we get that dub. We need it real bad. The last game wasn't in the Champions League, wasn't great for us. So, yeah, I guess that'll be it. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and till next time.